Happy days.
Happy days. Alright, Paul, welcome to Real Life Media. I'm William.
Thank you very much.
How you getting on?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. How's yourself?
Aye, I'm alright, mate. I'm alright.
Good.
Soldiering on. So
That's the main thing, mate.
So, start where we always start. Where were you born? Where'd you
I grew up in Broomlands, a place in Irvine. Aye. So I come from the Boffin originally. That was my childhood. So it was. Aye.
good, happy childhood?
Aye. It was ups and downs, but mainly I had a good childhood, mate. I had a good upbringing. Ran about with a lot of good folk as well. You know what I mean? I think so. Aye, I can't say that I had a bad upbringing or anything like that, do you know what I mean? But just like everybody else, it was just ran about the schemes with my pals, all that kind of stuff, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aye. So
how was primary school and things?
Primary school was alright, mate. I thought just wasn't for me. But got through it pretty much unscathed. That kind of thing, that wee bit of part of my life was quite settled, mate. You know what I mean? Up until really I was about 8-year-old, about that 8, 9 kind of thing. And then things kind of changed for me a wee bit. Moved into Irvine, obviously a different area, stuff like that. Aye, but primary school in general was alright, mate. Aye, I'd say probably primary 7, a lot of my life changed quite a lot, you know what I mean? But I can touch on that.
Was it primary 7 that that's when you moved to Irvine and things started?
My mum and dad split up. So obviously that was the first kind of big thing in my life. Came from quite a settled home, William, you know what I mean? My mum and dad, good parents, both worked. But obviously they had their issues, do you know what I mean? My mum took me. I didn't really have much of an option in it. It was, so I get split up from my sister. She went with my dad, I went with my mum. And we moved in with my grandfather. So moved in with him and then into Irvine, and I down Sloane Avenue. That was my first reside in Irvine.
Right.
So aye, that was.
When you have things like that, certainly at that age, it's back then we wouldn't have known what it was, but nowadays it's childhood trauma.
As mate, affected me my whole life, mate. You know what I mean?
You carry it your whole life. It's
aye, definitely. Definitely with separation issues and all that kind of thing. Obviously, because it's a massive trauma when something like that's split up in your life. You know what I mean? And you have to make decisions. Where you going? Who you going with? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I didn't really get much of a choice. It was like, go with my mum. That was it. You know what I mean? So I was obviously taken away from my dad, which was quite a wee harrowing experience. Obviously, because I was a daddy's boy, and all. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I think every son loves their dad. I think
man, everybody looks up to their dad, don't they? So, excuse me.
So that kind of happened that time. How did you did you then go into a secondary school with a lot of people you didn't?
With the same group of people, and then it expanded more and more, obviously, as you get into secondary school and that kind of thing. I'd probably say the first time I had quite a traumatic experience. Maybe I think I was just into first year, or maybe the tail end of primary 7. And my dad, I found my dad. My dad got seriously assaulted with a machete in the back of the head. So I found him, obviously in his bedroom kind of thing, and he was in a bad way. Kind of thing. So I had to go and get my mum and stuff, and aye, my dad got took in. He was in for a long time. He got a brain operation and stuff like that kind of thing, mate. I mean, he was lucky to survive. You know what I mean? But it was a very traumatic thing to experience, man.
That must have had a big impact.
That affected my life down the line. You know what I mean? Quite significantly. And I didn't even know it. Obviously, the trauma at the time, back then, you'll know yourself, mate. Mental health and stuff like that wasn't really something that was touched upon. You know
Nah.
what I mean? You know what I mean? If you looked physically okay, then everything's fine. It's buck up. You know what I mean?
But back in the day, if you were depressed, you were called Crabbit and get fucking out and play.
Aye, or you were a nutter or something like that, you were a weirdo or...
You were anxious, you didn't let on.
Aye.
No,
It affects you in social circles, mate, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, I see when all these type of things happen to me, I felt that I withdrew, mate. I withdrew in social circles with my pals and stuff, and I went dead quiet, kind of thing, in myself. You know what I mean? And I was like that for quite a good few years, and I think probably looking back and things like that, folk would wonder why I was quiet or kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And it was because of these experiences. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Aye, didn't really have anybody to talk about it, mate. Seen
yeah.
as weakness.
And did you feel more comfortable being by yourself?
I did.
Or did
I
you?
did. I've always enjoyed my company, but I've always had a big social group of friends as well, a little bit, mate. You know what I mean? But I found in the times when I was going through all that kind of mental stuff, I would say if I was like 12, 13, 14, I didn't realise, mate, but I had depression. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as a kid, you don't know what that is. You know what I mean? You just feel sad and you don't know why. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I explained briefly what happened to me when I was younger. And I didn't realise that had an impact on me until I look back. And I had a great group of mates, and we done loads of great things and mad things. But
Good stuff, man. Good memories.
I still remember maybe kind of 12, 13 when you're in the house yourself, wondering, "Fuck, am I sad?"
Aye.
But you
Felt the
just
same.
there was nobody to speak to. It was you just got to
Nobody to
deal with
bounce on. Nobody to
it.
bounce on, mate. You know what I mean? And you're like, why do I feel this? Why do you get any feelings? Why am I getting any thoughts? You know what I mean? And that is, and
Aye,
it's, aye.
you felt it. Well, in my experience, sometimes I felt you just had that fucking grey cloud everywhere you went hanging out of you.
Yep.
Until you
Yep.
were with all the boys and you had a few drinks, and then you were
Aye.
good.
And that's where all starts, mate, innit? You know
And
what I
we
mean?
still,
And same experience, mate. Same experience. Do you know what I mean? And same things, like outcome into it. You know what I mean? You end up kicking about with all the trips, man, and drinking and taking drugs, partying all the time. And that's for an early age, mate. I was doing all that from 12 onwards. You know what I mean? I started smoking when I was 10. You know what I mean? Kind
I crashed my first motor at
you went a wee bit further, mate, eh?
me and my best mate. He sadly he's no longer with us, but
God bless him, man.
God rest him. It was an old Vauxhall Chevette. You remember them?
I do.
And
Let's get back a little.
my mate had swapped a farmer a jacket for it, and it was a red door, a silver bonnet, a green roof, one driver's seat in it.
Right.
We travelled maximum 100 yards and damaged three motors, ripped the door off in a skip, and ended up inside a bungalow.
No danger, man.
So I was under the
Mental.
social work and children panels for like 11.
Aye.
I always grew up with that anxious butterfly feeling.
Aye. Me too.
I carried that right up until I think it must have been 17, 18 when I just decided I'm fed up being fucking scared. Nobody's going to ever scare me again or fucking.
I was the same, mate. I was the same.
And that set me down another road where, in my mind, if somebody gave me that feeling, I try to connect it like that's the person who done that to me. Although it wasn't, but then that made me react really violent. And it wasn't until I was in prison years later that working with a mental health nurse in Castle Huntly, Diane, and she put all the dots together and says maybe this is a problem.
Is that too
I get
personal?
I get sexually abused when I was 5.
Aye.
Only happened once.
It's horrible, mate.
Obviously, the dirty beast bastard, when he was leaving, says, you tell anybody your mum and dad's going to die. And at that age, I fucking believe
you're 5-year-old, fuck's sake, mate.
Never told anybody.
Sorry for the language, mate, sorry.
No, yeah, it's real life. Fucking
Aye.
speak the way we speak.
No wonder that stuff boils my blood, mate.
Aye, I have hurt a few of them early years.
Painted up resentment, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. 5-year-old kid. What did you do to deserve that, mate? You know what I mean? Nothing.
These cunts are wired that way, innit?
No, mate. I can't get my head around it, mate. You know what I mean? Obviously, me and you, we're different. Generally, most public aren't they? Do you know what I mean? But how people can think that way is beyond me. You know what I mean? For a young child, for fuck's sake. But I'm sorry to hear that.
It should be jail for life.
Aye, definitely. I don't think that should be jail, mate. That should be a pit down offence, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're taking innocence away. You're taking innocence away. That's, to me, that means that you shouldn't exist. Do you know what I mean? And if you're capable of doing that, you know what I mean? But that's my opinion. I'm not in power, mate. You know what I mean?
I always put comfort in the fact, thank God it happened to me and not my brother or my sister.
But they tend to feel like that, don't they?
Yeah. But there is gone by fucking psychiatrists and whatever else, there is a clear link of childhood trauma, alcohol, drugs, and prison.
Aye.
So there's a clear link of that.
Aye.
And in this day and age, it's good to hear other men opening up.
It doesn't happen. It's sad because, I mean, round about where I stay in Cullinan, whereabouts are you, William? Sorry, mate. Stuart, mate. Well, we're not far away, mate. You know what I mean? So you'll hear the same stories as me. Do you know what I mean? In Cullinan alone, like last year, the amount of men committing suicide, mate. You know what I mean? It was horrific, mate. Horrific. You know what I mean? And because they can't open up, mate, they've got nobody to talk to, man. You know what I mean? And honestly, man, kudos to you, mate, for doing something like this. Do you know what I mean? I advocate for that, man. You know what I mean?
Something is needed in it. If somebody watches this one interview and says, I'm going to tell my story, then it's worth it, innit?
Aye, then do it, mate. Then do it. You know what I mean? It's honestly, I mean, I done it years ago. I remember I put a post on Facebook, and I've personally knew people, friends, who have committed suicide, mate. You know what I mean? Due to depression, alcohol abuse, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And everybody, I mean, just sits back, doesn't say anything. Do you know what I mean? And I put on, obviously, my share of what I was going through, or what I'd been through with depression. You know what I mean? Just to even see if it just reaches that one person, mate. You know what I mean? And just lets them know that they're not alone, man. You know what I mean? Then you've won, man. You've done a good deed. You know what I mean?
Nobody's alone. See if I hadn't seen somebody from secondary school and they go in contact with me because they're feeling down and they didn't want to do an interview, I'd rather sit and speak and listen to them all night than find out 2 days later their man dad's arranging a funeral.
I know. And it was a boy I knew. I remember when I met him, and I met him down in one of the parts, and I was like, but this time I wasn't like a quiet wee boy. I was starting to come out my shell a wee bit, and I seen him when him and his pals and that, they were older than me, but they were walking by and looking at me, and I was like, hey, you're right, fanta pants. And he's like, you talk to you a wee bit, and say, come here, started scuffling and carrying on, and all that kind of thing. And ever since then, he goes, I like you, wee man. He's like, you're brand new. Do you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. So I would meet him through all the years, kind of growing up and all that kind of hanging. And I had a good kind of connection with him, friendship and all that kind of thing. And then his life went on. Things happened in his life. He couldn't get it. You know what I mean? And his wife left him, took the kid and that. And it just broke him, man. Totally broke him. You know what I mean? And I remember a week before he died, and he was posting kind of some crazy stuff, man, on Facebook, and I was like, man, I'm going to reach out to him, man. I need to, some like, look, big man, what's happening? Where are you? I'll come down, man. I'll come see you. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like, tell me what's going on. You know what I mean? And blah blah blah, kind of thing. But he was too late, mate. He wouldn't open up. You know what I mean? I think he'd already decided what was happening, if you know what I mean, Karen. And do you know, I was sitting there thinking, do you know what, Paul, I know what his style's just bounced down. You know what I mean? But then I was like, nah, I better know. You know what I mean, kind of thing. And I have that wee regret in my mind of, can see, maybe if I just went down that night and just chapped his door and just sat with him for a couple of hours, do you know what I mean?
You'll know.
Maybe it would be different, but
he would have done it another day.
I know, you don't know, mate. You just don't know. It could be the week after and they could have done the same thing, do you know what I mean? But
Actually,
yeah,
my best mate, he sent me. I was lying in the living room floor, with 2 slip discs in my back for work.
aye.
And he sent me a message 2 in the morning or something. You've always been my bro. Fucking I love you to bits, but I no on this feeling. I thought he just drunk. He was never ever
Aye.
any signs. He was always happy. So I just wrote a message back. I fucking love you too, you daft cunt. Get to your bed, you're drunk. Fucking kind of thing. And 2 days later, that was it. He was
Was
gone.
gone.
And I felt bad for years. I went in a right dark place for 5 years. The doctor was giving me painkillers for my back. So I started taking them and painkillers other people were getting. Me and my wife were going through IVF at the time, and the first time failed, and she needed a big operation. I felt guilty. I thought it was maybe it's the stress of me. I was in and out of the hospital at least once a week with crushing pains at the top of my stomach.
Right.
So I thought, all this having to leave her work to come to the hospital, and I felt guilty. So I thought, being fucking brains a Brit and hammer, I says, you're waiting you get an ambulance, you're waiting 6 hours, then they're giving you morphine and fucking send you home.
Aye.
So I thought, right, I'll just get a wee fucking bit of heroin. I'll keep it in the house. If I wake up sore, I'll take that. Saves the ambulance, saves the stress, the dramas.
Wow.
Within 8 months, that had spiralled to 7 grams of heroin every 3 days.
Wow, mate. Wow. That's mental, mate. Isn't it?
And then they found out the accident. My wife was 6 months pregnant. IVF was successful this time. And they found my heart failure by accident. It was angina attacks I was having.
Oh, was it?
So they gave me a spray under the tongue, it took the pain away.
Took the pain away?
But by this point, I'm taking fucking 7 grams of heroin every 3 days.
Fucking hell, mate. That's wild, man.
So I went on a drug reduction programme.
Aye.
By the time my son was 1, that was me off all prescription medications, all heroin, all the jungle juice, a lot. Finished. I just take
Good on you, mate. It's a hard thing to do, and I don't think anybody who's not experienced addiction, mate, will be able to relate to you, bud. You know what I mean?
That's when I was coming off everything, that's when all my past, all the bad times, you had to deal with all them because you'd suppressed them your whole life with drinking with the boys, taking party drugs, and when you finally come off everything and have to face reality, without any crutch, then you've got to deal with all the bullshit that's happened your whole
mechanisms, do you know what I mean? And we cruise through all the times and all the boys and all that mentality, do you know what I mean? Kind of thing, when all that stripped away, do you know what I mean? And all that masculinity and blah blah blah, and then that's when a lot of the guilt and a lot of the feelings that you're not good enough and you're not a man and you can't man up and all that kind of stuff comes in and it hits you, man, doesn't it, man? Hits you like a ball, man.
Hits you
You know what
hard.
I mean?
Luckily, I had a good wife. She was supportive, and my son was on the way, so that gave me motivation. I never had one.
Gives you something to focus on, mate. You know what I mean?
Never had a bad step.
I was the same, man, when I met my missus. I met my missus when I was 26. And by this time I was already clean off everything, mate. I would say alcohol addiction was my first thing. I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic, you know what I mean? But I was dependent on alcohol to function. I was a member of AA for 5 years. I was Alcohol Anonymous. I wasn't an alcoholic though, you know what I mean? But I didn't know what I was at the time. I didn't know where I was. I didn't even know who I was, mate. You know what I mean? And, I was lost soul, mate. Totally lost soul. You know what I mean? And
your mind's your own worst enemy at times.
Big time. And
see, once you lose that ego and just accept the fact you're who you are and you're content with your wife and your man,
when you strip that away, you strip it away and you're not that person that you thought you were. You know what I mean? You find out who you really are. You know what I mean?
But it's a fucking long road for a shortcut, isn't it?
It's a fucking heavy one, mate, isn't it? Could have done this a bit more, although I would. But aye, that's what it is, mate, man. And I went through. I think I'd probably say I was quite lucky, mate. You know what I mean? I feel like I was a lucky one because I went through depression, anxiety, panic attacks, really early in my life. You know what I mean? So I still had that youth and energy about me, mate. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I had suicidal thoughts. Twice tried to commit suicide. Most people probably, whoever know me, would know that, mate. You know what I mean? But I just didn't have it in me, mate, to do that. You know what I mean? Because I knew I was better than that. You know what I mean? And
I took a month's worth of medication and woke up in ICU at fucking 4 a.m, ventilated, this fucking tube in my cock.
Man, what an experience that is, mate.
I fucking ripped the ventilator out, ripped that fucking thing out my cock. I was pissing blood for a week. Phoned my mate, come and pick me up. But as soon as I woke up, I realised straight away, I've been a selfish cunt.
Yep.
I've got a fucking wife in the house and a Wayne who need me. And I think that was the kind of breaking point where broke me to my senses that it's not about me anymore.
Aye.
I've got to be here for
insanely and drives me, bud. You know what I mean? I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have any path. At the point when I was clean and thingy, I was lost. My anxiety was through the roof. Terrible, man. Terrible. You know what I mean? Then I met my missus and she had my young lass at the time. And we came together and I took them on kind of thing. But it gave me a wee purpose, man. Do you know what I mean? And something to drive for. As I said to you, one of our last chats, I was sitting in a flat in Irvine, man. You know what I mean? A scabby, skanky flat. You know what I mean? With a ton of carrots. You know what I mean? And no money, not one penny in my bank account. Smoking douse on an ashtray and everything. I was that poor, mate. You know what I mean? Didn't have any contact really with my family at the time. My mum or my dad, my sister. Kind of thing. Hard times, man. Do you know what I mean? And then, but the thing is, like, I've propelled myself. I knew I was better than that, mate. You know what I mean? And when I met my girlfriend at the time, and then I started my own business. I'm a painter and decorator to trade. Started my own business. My wee woman kept me on the straight and narrow, man, in my heat as well. Do you know what I mean? Because it was fucking all over the place, mate. The amount of drugs, alcohol that I'd done. And so I couldn't thank my missus enough You know what I mean? They say behind every good man there's a better woman. You know what I mean? And never a truer saying, man. You know what I mean?
She's your guardian angel.
That's man. You know what I mean? Couldn't really see my life without her. You know what I mean? Because like my mum always says the same thing. You know what I mean? She's like, Paul, she made you the way you are. You know what I mean? She goes, I can't thank her enough. You know what I mean? Because my mum was scared that I was going to end up dead somewhere. You know what I mean? At the time,
That's another guilt you carry with you, is what you put your man Dash through.
my mum's sitting greeting, and she was raging, mate. Honestly, I've never seen my mum so angry. You know what I mean? My dad after, I was just at a hospital. I had OD'd and keys, man. I not alcohol. I was in intensive care, fucking all thingy, like, was strapped up, heart monitors and everything. And then when I got out, my mum and dad were sitting in the living room, and I think I was seeing a lass at 10. She was there, and we were sitting there, and my mum was like, fucking. She's like, what the fuck's it going to take for you to fucking wake up? She's like, we're sitting here greeting that you're going to be dead. You know what I mean? Kind of like, you're in ICI. She goes, well, Paul, do you want to fling your life away and be a fucking loser and do it? You know what I mean? She goes, that's where you're going. You're going to end up fucking dead, blah, blah, blah. And that was a kind of a wee awakening call for me, mate. You know what I mean? Do you know what, man? This is fucking serious, man. I'm in a bad place and I need to fucking do something about this. You know what I mean?
I get a situation happened. My uncle, he's just passed away not that long ago. Aye, God rest him. He pumped his best mate's wife, and they were at it for a long time before she got pregnant. So it started a kind of feud. But he went to the papers and says it was religion and all the rest of it. And I get fucking branded this drug dealing terrorist. And then a few years down the road, we were at my wife's 21st birthday party. Excuse me. And my mum had a wee mini stroke just before it, so she had a wee limp. We ended up, the club shut at 12, so we went to another pub that was open a bit later. And my mum was doing this, we were upstairs in the disco, my mum was doing this there. And he says to my mum, God works in mysterious ways. Didn't he, Limpy? And when I heard that, I was, after years of him fucking fretting, but then fuck all. Damaging motors, that was a kind of Strenfield.
Right.
But when I heard that, I was like, enough's enough. Enough's enough. But what I done was wrong. I realised that.
Out of curiosity, man.
Try to kill him.
Aye.
Try to kill him. Try to attack him with a machete, but he ran away and left the innocent brother. It ended up the innocent brother got hurt.
Aye.
It wasn't until that happened and I found myself in prison that I realised that I set out to hurt somebody, but really I hurt my ma, my dad, my sister, my wife, because they all done the time.
Aye, definitely.
It was alright for me inside. I was having a laugh and I carry on. And
you were in with the boys, man.
Aye.
Aye.
But anybody that's thinking about going out and hurting somebody, just think about your family first, because they're the people who's going to be there at every visit, and they're the people you're going to hurt the most.
That's it. That's it, mate. You know what I mean? Violence doesn't solve nothing, mate. I've always tried my best to keep away from it, mate.
I just ignore people now and smile.
Aye, that's it, mate.
Drives them fucking nuts.
Don't even get confrontational with anybody anymore, mate. You know what I mean? Just use what's up there.
That's it.
You know what I mean? It's not worth it. There is. But I've never been that type of person. I can't say I'm the same, William. I've never, like, violence has never been a thing for me, mate. You know what I mean? Until I was drinking or taking drugs or in company where it harmed. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
So, taking you back to secondary school, was it just more or less going with the flow and having a drink at the week?
I loved secondary school, maybe my first and my second year kind of thing. Third year was quite more, probably more problematic, do you know what I mean? The gang fighting and stuff like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And well, I went to a school that was in a different area, which we used to fight with all them. So that was their kind of whole tough kind of thing. So there was only a few years that we'd been there. So we were like heavily outnumbered. You know what I mean? In this school and kind of thing, and it was just a lot of it was hell, man. To be honest, I couldn't go to school half the time, mate. You know what I mean? I used to just dog it a lot, so I would dog it a lot, and then you know what happens when you're dogging it. You meet other folk and you're drinking and kind of like getting cider and like sitting in somebody's house and whatever, then smoking hash and then kind of like further down the line it's like taking the eckies and blah 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 and stuff like that. So my secondary school was like, I didn't really like the school. I liked it at first year, second year, you know what I mean? But there was a lot of stuff going on where I probably missed the whole of third year, sorry. And then I got asked to leave, mate, you know what I mean? And I left it gladly. And got out of there because, I mean, the bullying was like horrendous, man. Do you know what I mean? My mum and dad and all that were up all the time. Why is he not in school? Because I'm going to get fucking done in. You know what I mean? Nobody does like one or two boys, but like 50 boys. Do you know what I mean? And Ken was like, obviously that spilled out of school and was at nightlife as well. So I ran about the streets, I ran about in gangs, kind of like a gang, and all different boys. Do you know what I mean? All different gangs that were scattered about. Do you know what I mean? Kind of, and that was just their fun, mate. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of just running each other, fighting balls, fucking. You know what I mean? Doing all the usual shit. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, stuff like that. Never, no, a lot of it was too serious. Do you know what I mean? Till I think there was a boy when we started a wee bit older. There was some things happening. Like one of the boys get caught, and they thought it was me, and they absolutely bleached this boy with bats and everything. You know what I mean? Nails in it and everything. You know what I mean? And left him in a bad way. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So I think that boy resented me about that as well. You know what I mean? So it
Well,
wasn't my
because
fault.
you're from one area.
Because it's from one area. Aye. Because it's from one area and I couldn't get into the dinner hall, I couldn't do anything like that. I couldn't even go in there, I couldn't go to drink or anything like that. I couldn't get into Irvine. You know what I mean? Because same type of things, even though by that time I stayed in Irvine, but I stayed loyal to my troops, man, and stayed with them. Do you know what I mean? And because that was my boys who I ran about playing that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And wasn't it was all bad. I mean there was hundreds of good times. Do you know what I mean? A lot of life lessons as well, man. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Growing up, you know what it's like growing up in the streets, man. I take it with you, similar kind of upbringing, like running about with all the boys and the, you know what I mean, and a
My
gang or
dad,
whatever.
my dad got me into, well, first he got me into boxing to try and keep me off the streets. But when you hit that age, buck fast, women,
That's what you're doing, man. You're out in the
you
troops,
don't
man.
want to be going getting your head punched in 3-4 times a week when you
Stay
can,
tuned, man.
when your mate's fucking shagging the nicest Bobby Stewart. You know what I mean? You might be the person doing it.
You're a
But
jumping about the fields, man.
you start off, we're probably similar. Did you start off in the Mary down, can
Aye, aye,
Lambree, anything you could
aye.
afford?
Amiga and everything, man. I'd drink anything, mate, and it was fucking gone. Do you know what I mean?
Even
The Thunderbirds, you know what I mean? Fucking Red Stripe, anything. You know what I mean?
Mad Dog, Buckfast.
Aye. My first bad experience probably would be with a bottle of Amiga. I turned a 3 litre bottle of Amiga, and I must have done it in about 10 minutes, honestly. Um, this is the first psychological thing in my mind where I know I had a problem starting. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I couldn't handle my drink. You know what I mean? And, but I couldn't go before it. So, and I could drink a 3 litre bottle of Amiga in like 10 minutes, mate. You know what I mean? But I ended up tripped, boom, hit my head, and ended up in hospital. And I was only 14-year-old. That was my first visit in hospital, man, for the alcohol. And it wasn't even the last, man. You know what I mean?
Growing up with any type of childhood trauma, when you find the alcohol, you want to be Jack the Lad, you want to be the most maddest person, or
Made me the person I wanted to be, mate. You know what I mean?
easier at the
Honestly.
age.
Aye, didn't have confidence. No, I mean, I had no confidence. Everybody used to put me down, mate. I was a bigger boy, like in size and all that kind of thing for my age. So I used to get bullied quite a lot on off the bigger boys, older boys. You know what I mean? Because I was probably thought I was older. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So I kind of knocked the confidence out of me a wee bit, mate. You know what I mean? I was because my nature isn't like that. It was quite a placid nature. You know what I mean? Take after my mum.
Obviously, that happened to me when I was young. The first few years of primary school, I get bullied, like half caste, packy, all that fucking nonsense. But
Aye.
Once I started hitting people for what I'd learned at boxing, that stopped.
That stopped pretty abruptly, I'd imagine, mate.
But it still had an impact on you because throughout your whole life, you don't feel comfortable. You don't feel as if you're waiting on something to happen.
Same, it doesn't leave you, mate. See now, still if I get into a restaurant or in a bar or whatever, man, always sit in my back, always sit right at the back, always sit my back facing so I can see everybody, mate. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. That's just, but it's part and parcel of it.
I'm the same, but I've tried to stop that. I'm just made of the mindset now, whatever happens.
Hard and all that, innit?
Oh, they certainly do.
Used to, years when I was younger, when I was kind of starting to get myself sobered up, started doing the doors and all that kind of stuff in the town, and the nightclub and that kind of, in Irvine and aye. And I think that kind of sticks with you too. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're always on edge. That always that constant on edge. You know what I mean? So it kind of stays with you. Yeah, I think obviously being brought up the streets that way.
So, what age did you start with party drugs? What age?
I was a latecomer, man. I was, do you know, I was just had a thing in where I was like smoking weed and like drinking and that. But up until I think I was 17. I was 17, I moved out, but this time I fell out with my dad. Well, I mean, my dad was quite abusive when he was, my sister had a wee flat at the time, down in Irvine, and I bounced in with her, and then she met her boyfriend. 3 months later, she moved out, and then I had the house. So I was 17-year-old, and I was working at the time. I'd started my apprenticeship, so I was getting a wage in as well. You know what I mean? So I had free reign, mate. You know what I mean? And my mum was in America. My dad, I didn't speak to him for about a year or two because of that. Kind of thing like taking eckies. It really started off with taking eckies, to be honest, man. Do you know what I mean? I was out with the boys and they were doing off in about 13, 14, but I was kept away from them. I was like, I don't like to take drugs. You know what I mean? I was like, it's not me. Because my mum and dad had always kind of drummed into me what they can do to you and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but one night I was out, a couple of boys outside the pub, man, and they were taking eckies, and one of them was like, he's like, Sumo, why do you not take anything, man? What's wrong with you? Do you know what I mean? And he made me feel kind of bad, and I was like, what do you mean, what's wrong with me? Do you know what I mean? I was like, what's wrong with you taking drugs, man? I was like, you're a fucking mug. You know what I mean? And he's like, you don't know, you've never took it. And he's like, here. And he put an eckie out and he halved it. And he's like, look, take this half, right? And if that half doesn't do anything for you, I'll never ask you again. You know what I mean? And if anybody asks you, that's not his thing. I was like, right, fuck it, I'll try it. I says, I'll see what all the higgies about. Tried it, took half an eckie, man. Fucking half an hour later, I was up the karaoke swinging and like about, the party, man, having folk up, all sorts, you know what I mean? And I was going to get done in that night, man, because I was being a widow, do you know what I mean? I was like proper, because you know, it's like you're on the old disco biscuits, man, the party comes out you, mate, like nothing else. But again, I wasn't that confident, but they made me feel like that. So that was the beginning for me of my addiction, mate, you know what I mean? Because I went full throttle, man, with them. You know what I mean? Because it made me feel good, mate.
I was 19.
When you first drug? Or?
No, if I used to go out drinking, I'd take a wee bit of speed just to keep me kind of sober. So
Aye.
I had whatever wits I had some of them about me. I didn't have.
No, but aye.
19, me and my mate went to Creamfields in Liverpool. Too scared to take any speed down with us. Thought we would be able to get it down there. Got to the festival, all we could get was disco biscuits. So, fucking, we went and bought one each. Took it 10 minutes later, we'd been bumped. Went and bought another one each. Took it 10 minutes later, we'd been bumped. So on, so on. But before we took them, my mate says to me, if you get a sore head and you're sick, it means you're going to die. Right? So the so the ecky started kicking in, and I turned round and he's spewing his ring. So I freaked out. I went and locked myself in a fucking portaloo for about 6 hours trying to chew my ear. Scared to come out because I'm thinking I'm going to have to tell his man died. No, I'm going to get the blame. That was my first experience. And when we come back up the road and everybody's saying, right, get me a bottle of Buckfast and get me a bottle of Mary down, and me and my mates like, nah, you need to try these.
Aye. What were they with the Mickeys?
Mitsubishis, Triangle Mitsubishis, Rolexes. But that just started 3 years of pure madness.
Aye.
And Eminem just come out at the time. So any fucking tablet he would mention in his song, we were looking for fucking anything yellow, anything purple, just fucking nuts.
I was the same, mate. I was absolutely infatuated with him, mate, and I was about the same kind of time. That was my party kind of mode time. You know what I mean? And I had my wee flat and all that. I was Eminem daft. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Yeah, aye. But I was the same with the Ickies and that and all. You know what I mean, like once I fucking started taking them, mate. See the charge you used to get off them were amazing, weren't they? Do you know what I mean? And kind of that gripped you, man. You know what I mean? And so
an important thing to point out to anybody watching this is Mace tablets are fucking made in a lockup somewhere now.
Aye, compressed with shite. You know what I mean?
Fake tablets are all fake. They're fucking.
Nowadays, it's no. Back then, drugs were a lot more. I wouldn't say they were 100% cleaning, man. Do you know what I mean?
They were still dangerous.
They were still dangerous, do you know what I mean? But they're not as dangerous as what they are today.
No.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't like to be a young man growing up in this day and age and then all the legal highs that you get as well, mate. You know what I mean?
You get they fucking. See, people call them street Valium, man. I don't even like that name because they're no Valium.
They're no Valium, they're no Valium, mate.
They're fake tablets. And that's what they should be called. The amount of people who's died taking it.
A few people. You know what I mean? It's horrible.
Well,
it's horrible, mate. I know a lassie who passed away with them, man. I'm not going to go delve into too much about that, do you know what I mean? Because it's not my place thing, do you know what I mean? But again, leaving kids and that a bit behind, mate, you know what I mean? It's like, man, you know what I mean? It's just not worth it, mate.
Nah, it's certainly not. And the only one thing drugs will guarantees you is you're going to get depression at some point.
Contribution to my depression and anxiety, bud, you know what I mean? I would say 19 onwards, do you know what I mean? Like, I had an experience when I was abroad. I went to Tenerife with one of the boys. And, obviously, the thing with my dad, you'll probably hear like put a connection to this, obviously. So how it affected me, you know what I mean, and mentally. I went to Tenerife with my mate, man. We met up with this other Scottish guy, man, and he's like, I know where to get Charlie and get disco biscuits and all that, man. So we're like, happy days, man. So we followed him about. We picked up, got our drugs and all that. And we were just having a good time, man. Do you know what I mean? And I think one night we had been out all night and we still hadn't been to sleep. We were sitting outside of the pool, and there was quite a few of us all there, and there was all these birds like topless, fucking jumping in the pools and all that kind of thing. And it was a great day, mate. You know what I mean? And I remember I was smoking a joint next to the pool, and I had a couple of doubles, and I was still rubbered for the night before, and I was like, I was quite impressed with one of the birds that was across from me, do you know, the top half and all that, and a wee German thing, and I was like, look at him. And I was like, here, check this. And I jumped in the shallow end, didn't I? But I went head first, and I hit my head off the bottom of the pool, man, and when I come back up, everything was in black and white, one of my mates was looking at me and he's like, holy shit, and he's like, you alright, mate? And I was like, aye. I says, I've got a fucking sore head, and he's like, mate, your head's went out like a balloon, you know what I mean? And my whole side of my head went right out, mate, you know what I mean? And that Scottish boy we met, he's like, what, move, hospital, you know what I mean? So that was me. I ended up in hospital for 3 days in Tenerife to get heat scans, like CAT scan and all that kind of thing, drips. They couldn't speak any English back then. There wasn't much English in a Spanish hospital, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when I went in, the interpreter's like, look, we need to keep you here in case you die. You know what I mean? And I was like, 19-year-old, and I was like, what? Die? What do you mean die? You know what I mean? And they're like, here, go in that room, sit in that room, had a drip on and everything. And so once I came out of that hospital, mate, I wasn't the same. You know what I mean? Because I thought that night when I was in there, I was like, I could die in here. You know what I mean? Like, am I going to die in here? Or what's the script? You know what I mean? Because I had this massive thing in my head and all that. But that was the psychology of my dad. You know what I mean? Obviously, my dad got hit in the head. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And see, ever since that, the panic and the anxiety that I had was off the scale, mate. I went through probably 10 months of sheer hell, just everyday panic, all day, the whole day.
Did you ever get referred to psychiatrists, mental health workers?
I did, mate. I did, aye. I did.
What's your experience and what do you think of them?
To go and seek help, man, do you know what I mean? With medical professions, never, man, never. But my experience was they just didn't really care, mate. Do you know what I mean? It was a case of really, like, there's antidepressants, you're fine. You know what I mean? And that's what really they want to do. They just want to prescribe you drugs, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I get that feedback all the time from people. I think you need to go through these things before you can actually sit down and understand where somebody's coming from.
Look, my missus doesn't understand, mate. Do you know what I mean? Especially when I have like panic attacks. I think, like when she first met me, I was riddled, and I mean riddled with anxiety, mate. You know what I mean? It was horrendous. I couldn't even get down the show. You know what I mean? Doing the show, I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to pass out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a side effect of childhood trauma, drugs, alcohol. I would say they mainly propelled that. Do you know what I mean? Into the stage that I was at. Yeah. By that time, obviously, I was clean. I was clean for years. I was going to AA, stuff like that kind of thing, and try to get myself together. You know what I mean? But chemically, mentally, everything was going fucking foobar, mate. You know what I mean?
The mental health workers and that, I mean,
folk, mate. You know what I mean? But the way the system's set up, their hands are tied, man, innit? You know what I mean? Yeah, and I've, like, right to this day, I'm 42 this year, mate, and I've still not got a diagnosis. Do you know what I mean? And I was trying to push there for a diagnosis, because I believe, I genuinely 100% believe I've got OCD, mate. You know what I mean? I've got proper OCD. You know what I mean? And I think it still affects my life today, mate. You know what I mean? It affects relationships, it affects, and stuff like that. So it doesn't, obsession. I've got quite bad obsession and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just can't get any help with it, mate. It's been like that for a long time, and I've tried all throughout my adult life to try and get help for it, and I just can't get any help.
Well, I'm quite sure you will, and thanks for opening up about it.
Do you know what I mean? But I've had like, I actually paid for some counselling and stuff like that, which was actually really helpful. You know what I mean? And I found that was quite helpful. One of the counsellors that I spoke to about it, kind of thing, and helped me understand a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I think if you're going through these things as well, mate, like depression, anxiety, it's good to learn about it. You know what I mean? And if anybody's going through it right now, and you are feeling like that, with suicidal things and anxiety and depression, study it. You know what I mean?
Aye.
I find reading about it helped me. You know what I mean? And knowing that you're not alone, and there's that many people go through this, and there is ways to cope with it, and it's not always going to be as bad as what it is in this moment. You know what I mean? When it is bad. You know what I mean?
There's also a lot of people put on a lot of voluntary meetings for a drug addiction, alcohol addiction. Even if you've not got the things, I would still advise people to go to the meetings.
Definitely.
You're going to meet normal people who's probably been through a lot of the stuff you've been through, and they people have your best interests at heart.
You'd be surprised who you meet there, mate.
Yep.
Honestly,
Definitely.
you'd be. See when you walk into. I actually set up meetings. I done a wee. I done it twice actually. Depression and anxiety group. You know what I mean? And the only reason I didn't keep it up, mate, was because it was affecting me mentally. You know what I mean? I wasn't prepared for the mental effects of it. Do you know what I mean? But I was doing it out of goodwill to try and help other people and let them know that they're not alone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But I would advise anybody who's been through stuff like that, don't be scared. You know what I mean? Because every single person who's been through that door goes through the same stuff as you. You know what I mean? And has the same feelings. You know what I mean?
You'll be able to relate somehow.
Oh, aye. I don't think about being going to AA, like feel guilty or feel like kind of, do you know what I mean, embarrassed about it.
The
Do you know what I
stigma.
mean? Why should I? Do you know what I mean? And I don't have a hang of admitting it. You know what I mean? And I found out eventually that I wasn't an alcoholic. It was today with my condition that I've got now. I was using alcohol and drugs to deal with that condition that's evolved through all my trauma. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. But I met hundreds of good people, man. You know what I mean? And friends and that kind of thing, and learnt a lot about life, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people asking questions that normal guys like me and you wouldn't ask. You know what I mean? And being able to be comfortable enough to ask things. Do you know what I mean? That you wouldn't see in these other groups, mate, like you be your pals and all that. Do you know what I mean? Because fuck, can't say that. Can't ask things like that. Talk to your pals like that. You know what I mean? But aye,
These people have learned to drop the ego in the match. See this macho stuff? I hate this macho bullshit. I do not believe in it. Everybody's got emotion in them. Everybody hurts. Everybody goes through good times, bad times. But these people who try to be macho and deal with themselves, and they just end up running themselves into the ground.
Aye, that's what
you just open up. Go, even if you've got no addictions, you're just depressed, go to a meeting.
Exactly.
And listen to other people, and you'll realise I'm not the only person.
Speak to them.
Aye.
Because the only way you get here, things like this, mate, is by speaking, mate. You know what I mean? And you've got to speak and then understand it. If you want to get better, and sometimes, mate, these things will never go. Do you know what I mean? But it's just learning off other people and speaking about it, how you deal with it, man. You know what I mean?
It's learning to live with it.
It's learning to live, man. Live with it.
You're an oven, you say, isn't it?
I'm in 14 years now.
I don't even know if I've got a right notebook in front of my wife. Keeps fucking moving around a bit. Yeah, I think it's the wrong one. I've got a notebook somewhere where all the meetings are in Irvine.
Aye.
At times I'll try and put them up.
Well, I remember I've only been to a meeting for quite a long time now, mate. You know what I mean? I don't feel that I need it. Kind of thing, but I would advise folk who do go. But I know that the Volunteers Hall in Irvine, if anybody's dealing with alcohol addiction, do you know what I mean? That's part of the, obviously, go. You know what I mean? If you feel that.
Is there a Muir Church in Irvine?
There is, I think, there's that Fullerton Church. No, Muir Church is the one across, aye. I think it's the one that's across from there, but they do meetings as well.
There is a meeting in the Fullerton one. I think it's a Thursday at 7:30.
I stayed in Eglinton Street at the time, and
the Muir Church. I think that's the one Eddie Gorman does. That's on a Saturday.
Aye.
7:30.
Aye.
And it's not for people with addictions. It's for anybody who's just struggling.
I actually seen that on TikTok.
Aye.
So I did. Aye. I think it kind of focuses. I'm pretty sure that kind of focuses on kind of like Christian kind of stuff, mate. You know what I mean? As far as I know. You know what I mean?
You don't need to be religious to go. It's just
No, you don't, mate. That kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff like Christianity's kind of incorporated in it, mate. You know what I mean? But they don't preach it. They don't. It's no bashed on you kind of thing. You've got some prayers and stuff like that kind of thing. But if you don't like to participate in things like that, then don't. You know what I mean? I think one thing that with me was that kind of at the time there was this kind of thing about like believe in your own power, your own God, and all this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? But I don't really. I have my own beliefs. I do believe in God and stuff like that, but I don't focus it on anybody else. You know what I mean? But that's not my power. You know what I mean? My power is to have a good life. You know what I mean? And everybody can have a good life if they want it and they want to try for it, mate. You know what I mean? And like addictions, they can be overcome. You know what I mean? But seeking out help, going to groups, anxiety groups, depression groups, and all that, and AA, and the likes of the Muir one,
go
man, go for it, mate. You can only try it once, but you're going to lose. You know what I mean?
You've got to put the hard work in.
Aye.
They people will help you, but you've got to put the hard work in.
Aye. And that's what it's, mate, is life isn't fucking easy, mate. You know what I mean? And it's brutal. You know what I mean? And it's just a harsh reality of life. Do you know what I mean? But you can make your own path. You know what I mean? Okay, and you can make a good one, bud. You know what I mean? As I said, I went through. Sorry.
No, on you go. I was just.
Aye. I've got addiction, no family. You know what I mean? Absolutely nothing in front of me, no future. Do you know what I mean? To having a really successful businessman. Do you know what I mean? 3 kids. I'm on my 3rd house I bought in Quinn. And I've got everything I really need. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's not your main fulfillment in life, but it's like I've accomplished all this. Do you know what I mean? We just just giving it a chance, man, to evolve and get it.
How did you go from your first wee flat, smoking doubt, fucking no food? What was the journey like from there to where you are?
Was meeting my missus, wasn't it? You know what I mean? That was my. I probably rolled for a couple of years like that, mate, to be honest. Just not really going anywhere. But the thing was, is I disconnected from all the people, mate, that made me the way I was. Do you know what I mean? I stopped going out. I stopped partying. I stopped all that, mate. And I remember one guy I was working with, and I thought he was a bit of a strange character, but he'd been through addiction, you know, that kind of thing, and he confided in me a wee bit. And he goes, Paul, see, if you want to get away from all that, he says, you need to disconnect from everybody, mate. You know what I mean? And he's like, I don't mean like just totally seclude yourself, but disconnect from the people that are making you the way you are. You know what I mean? And he says, what I've done is I just got hundreds of box set movies, you know what I mean? Hanging myself away. It was my Saturday night, was watching movies with 1 or 2 very close pals, keeping it quiet, you know what I mean? And he's like, if you want to start to change your life and your circle, then that's kind of way to start, you know what I mean? And then you'll start seeing the differences, do you know what I mean? So that's what I done, bud, you know what I mean? And still kept in contact with some of my pals, do you know what I mean? But you find out who your pals are by that time, mate, because once you stop drinking, drugs, all that, they all just disappear, mate. You know what I mean? And then you're no part of that crowd anymore. Yep. So that's what really happened to me, mate. And then I started kind of more like seeking out like my partner really in it. Do you know what I mean? I was like, well, kind of, I want some company in that. You know what I mean? And then I found my missus and really just went for there. Strength to strength. You know what I mean? Once I actually kind of met with her, then I started getting my shit together, you know what I mean? And like, right, I need to start working with my YD. I'd been through quite a bit of experiences with my work, getting bumped money and all that kind of thing, subcontracting. So me and my missus were like, why don't I just go myself? And I started advertising, and then I started getting wee jobs here and there, and then eventually things started to pick up, and my missus got pregnant with my first son. But I already had Rachel, who was Val's daughter, but I pretty much brought her up for she was about 3, 4. So that's where my focus went. You know what I mean? Had kids, had Reese and Ruby, another 2 kids, and then just propelled for them, mate. That was my main focus, and I've never looked back. You know what I mean? And as I say, I've had all the experiences that have moulded me to the day, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't without her. You know what I mean? And the way I was. You know what I mean?
You need a strong woman, and that's just a fact of life. If you've got a good woman, then the rest's a breeze.
Once you start,
not a breeze, but
no, it's not. It's definitely not a breeze, big fella. No, it's not with a breeze, man. You know what I mean? But we've been through. That's what me and her talk about now. Do you know what I mean? Look at all the things that we've went through, and I'm 15 years down the line with her, mate. You know what I mean? And I was an absolute fucking bullethead. You know what I mean? Before I met her. You know what I mean? And I mean, she totally changed my life. You know what I mean? But in the same respect, you know what I mean? I can't just put it all on her. I did that. You know what I mean? I done the bass line, I built the bass. Before that, disconnecting away from all that lifestyle. You know what I mean? And changing my lifestyle. And do you know what? The hardest thing was being at that crossroads in my life where I knew I had to fucking change. And it was like, see all them and all that life, I need to get rid of that. And do you know what, mate? That was painful. I mean, fucking painful to let all that go. You know what I mean? Because I enjoyed a lot of it, mate. I enjoyed a lot of it. Not that it was all bad, you know what I mean? But it was to the point it was detrimental to my health, man. You know what I mean? So
these days are the most carefree, best days of your life.
aye.
But they come with problems when you stop it.
And when the problems, you see, a lot of time you don't acknowledge the problems. You know what I mean? You just go with it. You know what I mean? And then small wee problems become one big fucking problem. You know what I mean? And see, when you're at that stage, then you've got a decision, man. What am I doing? You know what I mean? Because I've seen guys who have just ignored that decision. You know what I mean? And they're no longer bears, mate. You know what I mean? They're fucking dead. You know what I mean? Because they don't take that step where, right, I need to change this. Do you know what I mean? So if anybody out there who recognises they're in that stage, do you know what I mean? Then do it. Because a better life is there for you. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to say that sounding like dead corny with that, mate. You know what I mean? But I'm living fucking proof, mate. Do you know what I mean? And you are too. You're sitting there with a family, mate. You know what I mean? And you're sitting doing things like this, and again, fucking hats off to you, man. You know what I mean? It's admirable, mate. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to do a bit of good after all the fucking bad I done.
Aye. And good on you, mate. And you'll feel the benefits of it.
Well, I'm actually starting to begin to feel the benefits of it. You're putting positive stuff out, and positive stuff starting to happen to me. So
You start to feel that, mate.
Never done it for that reason, but it is starting to happen. So,
what was your reason then to begin with?
I get fucking diagnosed with heart failure, and I was more or less just pissing about, no doing fuck all, bored, finger up my arse. I wouldn't say I was depressed. I'd say I was just more pissed off.
Aye.
And every consultant I was going seeing was saying, you need to find a purpose. You know, find something you can do. And I tried different things. And then I just stumbled across this, you know, like this sort of content.
Aye.
And it's working. So even with heart failure days, some days are fucked. Mental fatigue, physical fatigue. And other days, if I'm not that bad, I can still do this.
Aye.
And if I'm doing
Aye.
better, I can do things with my wife and son.
Aye.
So it suits me at a fucking T.
That's good, mate. That's good. What age are you at now, William? If you don't mind me asking, mate.
42, mate.
You're 42, same age, mate. Same age, man.
42, aye.
Aye.
42.
So what happened? How did you end up with heart failure, man? What happened with that, man?
I don't know if it's been genetic or... One doctor did say to me that, see, when that happened to me when I was away, I developed a thing called sleep paralysis, where I stopped
Right.
breathing in my sleep.
Right, man. Jesus
You're like
Christ.
kind of paralysed with fear.
Aye.
And what happens when you're sleeping, you stop breathing, is your body adrenaline kicks in. But when you wake up and breathe, you don't use it.
Aye.
So it becomes cortisone. And it stores at the top of your spine. And a doctor did say that, look, I thought that was normal, see, because I'd had it my whole life. I just thought that was normal. I didn't want fucking
Aye, you
different.
don't know different.
So one doctor did say maybe that's took a toll on your heart. No, the stress of trying to wake yourself up to breathe, using every fucking bit of strength you've got. So I don't know if it's been that, if it's been genetic, but I'm no one for complaining, man.
Nah, that's what it is, mate, and you only deal with it.
Aye, and you just have the best life you can have. We're here for a short time, and we're here to be happy.
So, here for a good time, mate. Well, not too much of a good time, mate.
Not too much of a good time. I've got to.
I know.
Please don't take offence to this, but I need to say it, and please anybody watching, I'm not ripping the piss out of OCD, but you must be a crap fucking job by the time you're finished with OCD. It must be perfect.
As mate, as I'm like fucking insane, mate. You know what I mean? I've got good reviews and all that kind of thing, mate. Do you know what I mean? And I just
What is your business called?
PWM Decor, mate. PWM Decor. Aye. So I do like. This is a good wee advertising, mate.
Aye, definitely.
Aye. I'll sponsor you, mate.
Fuck, don't say that. The bro stole my money.
Oh, fuck, I know, man. Oh, fuck's sake. Just start you in. I'm man, fucking £100 a month. PWM, paint and decorator, mate. You know what I mean? They plastering, spray plastering, spray painting, all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I enjoy it, mate. That's my life, bud. You know what I mean? It is my life, man. Yeah, it's like I've turned it into my passion, man. Do you know what I mean? And,
look what you've made. From where you want to where you are.
It's for my family though, bit, mate. You know what I mean? It's for my focus, which is my family. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I've made that my focus. That's my goal, man. That's my pride. You know what I mean? And how I keep myself in check. You know what I mean? A lot of folk will know me now as Big Quiet Paul. You know what I mean? I'm happy with that, bud. I'm happy with that. You know what I mean?
I'd like everybody to know me as Wee Quiet William.
Well, that's no happening, man.
So, what's your plans for tomorrow? Have you got plans? You got a 10-year plan, 15-year plan?
Nah, mate. Fucking none of that. Do you know what, man? I live right now, mate. You know what I mean? I did have... I had life plans, mate, when I was young. You know what I mean? I always knew when I was young. And I think it probably helped me with my addiction and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wanted a family. I wanted 4 kids. I wanted a house, dog, 2 dogs, mine house, mine company. And that was my focus for I was really young, mate. You know what I mean? Okay? And I've achieved it all. Do you know what I mean? And I remember one night lying in my bed. Do you know what I mean? And it dawned on me. I was like, do you know what? I've achieved all my life goals, by the way. You know what I mean? And honestly, what a feeling that was. You know what I mean? From where I came from. Do you know what I mean? To where I'd achieved all that.
That just shows anybody watching, well, it shows them one thing. Don't even start going down that road. But if you're already down that road, you can come out and make a great fucking life for
You
yourself.
can, mate. You can, 100%. And again, I remember, God, I mean, this is quite a personal thing, you know what I mean? But I remember, like, when I was going to, like, after I like tried to drown myself, you know what I mean? I was 20, was I 21? I think I was 21-year-old, and I remember lying on my dad's tiled flare in the bathroom greeting, like a big Wayne, mate. I was greeting like a big Wayne, you know what I mean? And I was like, God, you need to help me, man. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it anymore. I need help, you know what I mean? And I remember, I know a lot of folk will not be religious and stuff like that kind of thing, you know what I mean? But see, when you're at that point, when you're at that fucking point where, again, this is dodgy now, you know what I mean? Then that's where you find out who you are, mate, you know what I mean? And I just asked, man, I was like, you need help me, just give me the strength, man, you know what I mean? And at that point in my life, you know what I mean, I wanted it, you know what I mean? I didn't want to die, mate, you know what I mean? Again, and I could look at what would have happened if I did do that, you
I
know what
know.
I mean? And if you're at that stage right now in your life, it doesn't matter what fucking age you're at, you know what I mean? It's like anybody can change their life. The space what happens between a year and two is massive, man. You know what I mean? And 3 or 4 years down the line, mate, I'm sitting with a house and a van and, you know what I mean, and starting my own business and, you know what I mean, and getting my shit back together and, you know what I mean, and I've
There
been,
you go. In 20 years, you've accomplished. You've got 3 houses. You've got your wife, your wains, your
yep,
own business. Take all material things aside. You're still content in what you've got.
you know what I mean, because I've that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen without you putting the effort in. As you remember, you were saying before, Roy, Ken, it's like it's all about the effort, mate. You know what I mean? And what I was trying to say with the research thing, do you know what I mean? Is you really need to look into things like this, addiction, depression, anxiety, these things, the triggers, the effects, things like that. Study it, understand it. You know what I mean? And see,
Yeah.
once you understand it, that's when you start to be able to deal with it, mate. You know what I mean? And then start to build on your life. You know what I mean? Once you understand it, because it gives you that wee bit of peace, mate. You know what I mean?
And it gives you that wee bit of knowledge to recognise when something could be a problem to just
Yep.
go.
A lot of people with problems is they don't have the coping mechanisms, mate. And generally, that's why we turn to things like drugs and alcohol and things like that. Gambling, you know what I mean, as well. Gambling's a massive one, by the way, mate. You know what I mean?
There's loads of
Um,
addictions. Eating.
Tons of addictions.
Yeah.
I've got an addictive personality, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, I got addicted to fucking everything. You know what I mean? It's insane. Like, but right now, I'm into the gym. You know what I mean? I'm into bodybuilding. So, I've lost 5.5 stone in the space of a year and a half. You know what
I
I mean?
think if people are able bodied, it's the best thing. Fitness.
Definitely.
See, you feel like taking a drink, go out a jog. See, if you feel like taking coke, go out a jog, go to the gym. It gives you this
Exactly.
active fucking feeling.
Find a gym, and it's like, oh, gym. Mate, I went down there, I didn't get down there to socialise with anybody or anything like that. I went down for my personal, I want to lose weight because I feel terrible in myself, you know what I mean? Because I was really overweight, really heavy and just sleeping all the time, you know what I mean? But I've went down there, met hundreds of great people, you know what I mean? And it's a really good community, mate, you know what I mean? And I've had hundreds of people push me on but see the thing is, see the see the good mindset that they have. It's all positive, bud. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I get folk in there going, man, you look fucking mate. It's good to see. Well done. You know what I mean? And see
that's
just that wee pat in the back, mate. You know what I mean? Honestly, man, I'm springing out, fucking Ken, you've got a wee spring a wee spring in your step, mate, you know what I mean? And it makes you feel good about yourself, Ken, and
the
if you can do things like that there.
last guest I had on, Stuart Bryant, is an ex-Royal Marine Commando.
I had a quick glimpse of that, mate, I did. Aye.
He ended up in prison and he's seen how people change their life for drugs and addiction through exercise, going to the gym. So he works in a wee gym in Galston. I'm sorry, Stuart, I forget the name. I've got a fucking mind like a sieve. But he's going to be start working Elite Fitness in Kilmarnock.
Right.
Just next to the Palace Theatre.
I know where it is. Aye.
And his goal's to work with people with addictions and try and help them rather than through fucking methadone or whatever. Try and help them through fitness.
It's a noble thing, mate. Noble thing. I wish him all the best, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He's a personal trainer at the moment, but he's hoping to his 5-10 year plans to get a wee place he's in and like welcome the families in, the person with the problem and the wife, and have a coffee and go a walk and just kind of break them in easily. Because a lot of people, as you'll know, if they've got addiction, they feel embarrassed maybe going into a gym.
Totally.
If they've not got the fucking right trainers or those silly things.
I was 22 staying, mate. I was 22 staying by the time I went into the gym, mate, and I'd never felt so low as a snake's fucking belly, man. And so embarrassed by walking in all these athletes and fit people and that. Do you know what I mean? But do you know what, mate? They don't give a fuck.
No.
They're actually, when you see people like that coming in, you're like, they're trying to make a change in their life, and it's a good thing. And these people have that positive mindset. You know what I mean? So, hey, fucking hats off to that guy, man. Honestly, man.
That's what I like about him. He could have come out of prison and just got on with his life. He's come out of prison and he's wanting to help others.
Aye, look where he's gone. Look what he's doing. He's setting goals. He's setting, and I know you asked me like goals and stuff like that, mate. I don't have goals because I'm settled. I feel quite complete.
You've achieved.
You know what I mean? I've achieved what I wanted to. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm just enjoying where I'm at. You know what I mean? It's not. Hey, I still, like the other day there, I had a really bad day, mate, with my OCD. It was getting on top of me and stuff like that kind of thing. And it's not like I'm cruising through life. I have problems like everybody else. Do you know what I mean? I've got quite a lot of stress lately and stuff like that kind of thing. But it's just life, innit? You know what I mean? It's like everybody's
the gym helps you?
Massively, man. Massively, mate. Massively. Yeah. I can't advocate it enough. Right? I'll give you, if anybody's kind of watching, my page is Sumo's Fitness Journey. Now, go into my Instagram. I'm not asking you to like it or get anything like that. Just look, you know what I mean, and see. I've detailed all my progress, mate, from 22.6 stone, you know what I mean, to 17 stone. You know what I mean? And I mean, you can see I've got videos, pictures of the start to where I'm at the now. Do you know what I mean, Ken? Because I'm fucking proud of it, mate. You know what I mean? Because I've absolutely worked my arse off to do it, Ken, and I've still got miles to go. But it gives me a focus, man. It gives me a proper focus. And do you know what, man? See, the first couple of months, I fucking hated it, mate. You know what I mean? And I was the last person to ever go to a gym. But see now, it's a heavy addiction, mate. I'm like hooked on it massively. You know what I mean?
Good addiction.
It's a great addiction, mate. You know what I mean? I've swapped. I've got an addictive personality, and like most of the people are like that. Do you know what I mean? With addictions, you know what I mean? Then swap it with a good addiction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's only going to give you good things, isn't it? You know what I mean? And if you're in that negative spin, you'll find that positive spin. You know what I mean? And that's what's good about what we're talking about now, mate. Yeah, it's other people can pick up that and all of that. You know what I mean?
But I know the NHS is a bit kind of, fucked, isn't it?
So it's last man.
I'm going to try and hook up with addictions and see if they can maybe pay vouchers for Stuart to people can go to him and try and help people that way rather than just fucking numb their head with methadone or whatever else.
You know where society is, mate. It's money based, mate, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. And the problem is with the NHS is, although it's a public health service, man, it's owned by private corporations, mate. You know what I mean? And, you know, down the line, that's really all they're interested in, mate. They're all because it's money. You know what I mean? Everything.
For addictions, because they're really at the bottom of the funding. No, they're the last of the funding they get whatever's left.
I know. They're
It'd be
still
a much
making
better way to
money.
it'd be a much better way to help people. Get them
Aye,
into a gym, get them
definitely,
in.
man. I think in a lot of Scandinavian countries, mate, they have a lot of programs where they don't prescribe like pharmaceutical drugs and stuff like that. They do things like to do with activities and do you know what I mean, and focusing the mind. You know what I mean? Into these type of things. You know what I mean, that are proactive and obviously keeping you chemically based, really, in it. Do you know what I mean? Because that's really all that's happening here now.
There is
Has
a
been for a
place
long
in
time.
Kilmarnock, the Kilmarnock Hub, and
Aye,
they're a kind of church-based thing. But they take people away up the Highlands camping and things
aye,
like that, and that's much better than fucking numbing your
definitely.
brain with
Especially for any age. You know what I mean? But young people, you know what I mean? It's good for it'd be good for them to get caught up in that at an early age, mate, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? And
definitely.
because we didn't have any of that when we were younger, mate, wasn't it? No, you know what I mean? It was like when I was growing up, man, you didn't have any of that. Folk try to help you. You know what I mean?
My longer term plan for this is hopefully I can get into schools and speak to people who are just about to leave school.
Aye, man.
Not to speak like a teacher, just speak fucking normal the way they speak.
Aye. Somebody with experience.
I don't know how it'll work with me being sentenced to 8 years in prison, but I'd like to get into prisons and speak.
Innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, when I was younger, we didn't have any of this. We didn't have social media and all that kind of stuff. God, you didn't even have mobile phones. You know what I mean? Like, I think my first mobile phone was a Nokia 3010 or something. But like, I wish I had folk to speak to like when I was younger. To get out of these things. Like, I had my first criminal record by the time I was sitting. I was an adult, 16. You know what I mean? And I had a criminal record straight away. You know what I mean? A couple of years later, then I had my second one. Do you know what I mean? Next one, I was going down. You know what I mean? And I didn't have anybody to bounce off of me. You know what I mean? And that it'd be great for kind of society and young people in education need people who have experience it, bud. You know
I
what I mean?
know
Like yourself.
if you get into a school, 80% of them are going to say, "Ah, fuck him." But if that 10% listen, then
Yep.
that's helping.
80% of the people probably be folk without problems, mate, and stable lives and stable households. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they won't eventually anything can happen, but that wee percentage that have experiences like me and you and have a bad life, do you know what I mean? Or bad things happen to them in life, you know what I mean? It would help them massively, do you know what I mean? And kind of I would say that would be a great thing, do you know what I mean? Like one of the things that stopped me really for taking drugs like before all my pals were doing it really early. But one thing that my dad done was there was I think it was my sister actually that gave him it, and it was focusing on drugs, and it was a program. It was a CD at the time you put it in, but it was a pretty like with cool with proper cool music and all that, good kind of thing. I went through this and it was like you play games because I was interested in playing games and all that kind of thing, and it taught you about how everything works, the brain works, and what drugs do, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But that hit me for like the next 4 years. I didn't touch anything. Do you know what I mean? And I think,
That stopped me taking drugs was no, my dad would have hit me a right good kick in the stomach.
I know my dad was gaming them, man. Right.
And
Aye.
then if I can get into schools, I can hopefully get into prisons and say, well, you're for this area, here's all the places you can go to meetings when you get out. Because the jails are no doing it. They're just kicking you out with 50 quid and 3 months later they're
Door in it, mate. You know what I mean?
That's
Aye.
my long-term plans. Try and build this up and then go and try and get the people when they're young. And
Aye.
hopefully a few.
Like in the next few months, you should try and get some more folk who have got experience with prison, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and getting more views on that, man. Do you know what I mean? In prison life, you know what I mean? Because it's a fucking massive epidemic in Scotland, mate. You know what I mean? All these young guys with no goals and
prisons are busting at the seams.
Massively, man. You know what I mean?
West coast of Scotland, male suicides going through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Fake tablets. The police don't seem to be doing.
I think there's that much yet, and they've got that. No enough funding and blah blah blah. There's all sorts you could get. That's a massive thing to get, isn't it, man? You know what I mean? But I mean, they don't really. The government don't really give a fuck about things like that, mate. To be honest, do they? You know what I mean?
No until there's a light showing in it, and then they start waking up. But
folk don't want to shine a light on that. You know what I mean? And all these people are suffering. You know what I mean? All these young boys and lassies and all. Obviously, can't just say it's young boys. You know what I mean? But the suicide rate, I mean, is alarming, isn't it, man? It's insane. You know what I mean?
When we were younger, the hash we smoked was resin.
Yep. And solid.
Maybe 8-10% THC if you were lucky.
Aye.
The stuff these wains are taking at 13, 14's 22%. Fucking edibles, God knows how much percent's in the edibles. We've got orange juice. Just tastes like orange juice.
I know. Aye.
Getting nuts.
Fucking coffee and everything. You get sachets of coffee, mate, and everything.
You know what I mean? Galaxy bar, Milky Ways.
Aye.
And that's going to cause long-term mental health because their brain's not developed.
Into their physical body, mate. You know what I mean? And it's the old, it will never happen to me, isn't it? You know what I mean? Everybody thinks that, and I used to think the same, and even I was taking like 7, 8, 9 eckies a night, man. You know what I mean? Because I was that addicted to them, I was just like fucking taking them all the time. Do you know what I mean? I never thought anything would happen to me. Do you know what I mean? And my mum said that. She said, Paul, you need to really watch what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? Mentally, things can happen, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't believe her, mate. You know what I mean? I didn't think anything would happen to me. You know what I mean?
At one point, we were all taking them 7 days a week.
Aye, man. Aye. Like a Charlie and all. You know what I mean? Then, like, we would... our routine was like fucking Tuesday. Used to be Champions League. That's when Rangers and Celtic were fucking half decent. And so like, I had a wee part of the house. We would all Tuesday night, say Celtic were playing, bowl of bucky, fucking couple of gram, you know what I mean? Couple of digits.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday night, the same. Thursday night, you would get more. Friday night, it was fucking full blown. Saturday, Sunday, do you know what I mean?
Monday, I kind of missed it in the cocaine. It was there just before I went to prison. It was there for a couple of years, but it was.
Aye.
But when I come out of prison, it was nobody was taking ecstasy any longer. Everybody was taking cocaine.
Everybody was on an ching.
It was the weirdest fucking drug because it's the most expensive drug, and the first thing you do when you get it is say to your mate, "You want some?"
Aye, you want a line? I know.
You didn't buy an Eckie and say, "Here, you want half of that?"
I know you want half.
You don't get to a pub
by half the Eckie, mate. There was maybe, man.
You don't get to a pub and buy a pint and say, "Here, you want a drink?"
Aye, you want half a pint, pal.
But the most expensive drug, the first thing you do when you get it is say to a few of your mates, "Hey,
it's a social drug. And the effects it don't even last long. I don't know what I mean. Like,
it wasn't for me. I wasn't really keen on it.
Aye,
it didn't make me hyper and talk. When I took it, I was more like that.
Pure on edge.
Watching and listening. And my wife used to say, "You're a right born bastard." I only look forward to it when we get back to bed at night once everything left. Then it was good. Then I enjoyed it.
Aye, fucking right, man. Aye.
But as for the party side, it wasn't really for me.
Aye. I don't know. I think I mixed it. I mixed it with everything, mate. You know what I mean? So it was like, it wasn't just like one thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would drink a bowl of bucky, fucking say 6 Nicky Browns, go to the pub, fucking 3 or 4 pints. But in between that, probably smoked an eighth or something. You know what I mean? And then you've still got a half ounce, or somebody else got a half ounce. You're all sitting smoking hash, You know what I mean? And then you're taking eckies, and I mean, I don't know how I'm still alive, man. Honestly, it's fucking. It's about the amount the amount you took in one night, and then kept doing it for like 3-4 days, easy. You know what I mean?
You're a fighter.
Aye, but
Fighter.
there was alcohol. That was the one that more as I got older, I was drinking all the time. You know what I mean? I think that was the one that affected me the most. You know what I mean? So I don't drink anymore.
What would your message be to any kids out there who are just starting on that boatless cider?
I've had the experience just to let it go. You know what I mean? Don't get addicted to these things.
Stick to the cider and keep it for the weekend only.
Stick to your wee bird. You know what I mean? Stick to your wee bird and your odd wee night out with your pals. You know what I mean? Anybody offers you lines, anybody offers you drugs, anything like that, just don't. You know what I mean? Just, nah, not for me, pal. You know what I mean? I'm quite confident about a lot of youngins these days, mate. You know what I mean? Because they're quite switched on these days. You know what I mean? And a lot of them.
Covered, and then you've got other ones who go to their work, maybe make fucking good £600-700 a week, and they come in on a Monday. Couldn't have come down and have spent all their money on fucking drugs.
Again, I was an apprentice at the time, you know what I mean? And I was taking home about 300 odd quid a week, you know what I mean? And like, I would get my pay on the Friday. First thing I would do, as soon as I got out of that van, was go to the shop, get a half bottle of bucky, man, 6 beers, sit in the house. I still have some ching left for the past couple of nights. That would be my charge to get started, you know what I mean? And then see by Saturday night, man, I had no money left, you know what I mean?
Buying it for all your pals.
But aye, buying half ounce, man. Fucking, can you buy a wee half ounce, buy a couple of gram, you'd buy your sweeties, do you know what I mean? You'd buy all your bevy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we'd obviously go out and all that kind of thing, like go to clubs and all that as well, do you know what I mean? But for Sunday, I had fuck all left. It was even possible to survive.
See all they pals, and you'll probably still be close with some of them, but the majority of them, did any of them ever hone you messages in when they knew you'd no food?
Only one.
There you go.
One. There's only one boy that really kind of stuck with me. Do you know what I mean? He was like my best pal. You know what I mean? But we'd been through a lot, man. You know what I mean? And we were best pals for a good while. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. I don't really see him now. Do you know what I mean? But that's just life, mate, innit? You know what I mean?
You find your friends out.
They're all still good pals, mate. Like my close pals. Do you know what I mean? Like the main group that I'll always have respect for them all, mate. You know what I mean? I'll always be there for them. Do you know what I mean? But we're all adults now and we've all done our own thing. And pretty much all of them have turned out pretty well, mate. You know what I mean? We're all a good bunch of boys. Do you know what I mean? We just went down the wrong path. You know what I mean? And
we had the same group of pals growing up. And then I went away for 4 years. Came back. Within 3 months, my best mate, he was gone. But his ex-missus had a new fella. And I went to a few parties. But I felt within myself, this is not right, because it's usually fucking my mate who's not here any longer would be in his place, and I had to make a decision because I thought I'm going to end up fucking hurting one of them. I'm better just walking away.
aye. Do you feel you get that a lot, mate? Do you feel you get a lot of violent tendencies, man? You know what I mean?
No. Back then, no, I was just out of prison. I still had a bit of the kind of prison heat on, where that's really the only thing that works in prison if somebody's annoying you. I thought to myself, we grew up together, we've had great laughs, and I wouldn't like to end it like that.
Aye, definitely not.
It was easier just walking away, dealing with my own problems that I had.
At least you learned that, bud.
They're doing great in life. I'm content where I'm at. You've found contentment, and that's what matters at the end of it.
Enjoying life, mate. You know what I mean? Because you just say, we're not here for a long time, pal. You know what I mean? I know a lot of folks say, we're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time.
Here for a good time.
But the way you conduct your good time, you know what I mean, is a different matter, innit? You know what I mean? Like, just try and live a good life, man, innit? Do you know what I mean? And if you're in that spiral, do you know what I mean? You can't change it, man. You know what I mean? And you can get out of it. It doesn't matter. Prison, alcohol, drugs, fucking gambling, the lot, man. Do you know what I mean? If you're doing them all, man, do you know what I mean? And I know guys who are like absolutely fucking batshit crazy, mate. Just again, even that look in their eye, you know what I mean? You know they would stab you in a heartbeat, mate. You know what I mean? You didn't want to be about them. You know what I mean? Again, seen many a cunt like that. Do you know what I mean? But like some of them now, they're like born again Christians and they've got families and they're totally different. You know what I mean? And they've just totally turned their life around, man. And like anybody can do it, mate. Anybody can do it.
That's what I always say. Don't judge somebody for what they've done in the past. Judge them for what they're doing here and now.
Because your actions speak louder than words, mate, innit?
Of course,
you know what I mean? It's never a true saying, do you know what I mean? And just try and be yourself. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people these days try to be like other people, mate. You know what I mean? Or try to please other people and be a people pleaser. And, you know what I mean? And I was like that for years, man. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't act myself. I wouldn't show my true self and stuff like that kind of thing. And but I think that comes with age as well, doesn't it, mate? You know what I mean? You get to a certain point in your life and you're like, see, all that shit doesn't matter. I really couldn't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me or whatever kind of thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And now I'm like, when I meet people, I'm the person who I always am. You know what I mean? And if they don't like it, then fucking whatever. I couldn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But I just try to live my life a good way. You know what I mean?
I'm black and white with people. If I've got something to say, I'll say it. If I don't like you, I'll not speak to you.
A lot of folk, they don't like it. You know what I mean?
It keeps things simple.
Aye. And I've upset a few people because of stuff like that. But
don't speak to me. And then no need for any dramas.
Just keep quiet, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I suppose we've lived that journey in our life, mate. We've been doing that way. Do you know what I mean? And had the trials and tribulations with it, mate. You know what I mean? And I suppose
some of these people are still needing to grow up and they're still going through that.
Yeah, well, I know, man. You see it and they've just not grown up. And the problem is, man, is like I've seen that and I've seen people die with it, mate. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say any names or whatever, man, but you know, there was one guy always stuck in my mind. You know what I mean? And I remember I seen him the week before he died. You know what I mean? I seen him down the town and like I'd like frequented with him in AA and stuff like that, and parties, all sorts of parties, man. You know what I mean? And what happened to the way that guy went was no way for anybody to die, mate. You know what I mean? And to see him that week before, I mean, I remember him, he was talking about the devil and stuff like that. He was fucking gone, mate. He was gone. Drugs, mainly the alcohol, but drugs fucking destroyed his mind. You know what I mean? And
see that picture I put up there?
Aye.
I got that done 20 years ago, 20 odd years ago. And the fella who done it is so talented. He used to do all the shop fronts in Stuart, see, before technology and everything. And he could have made a lot of money. And he recently passed away. And that's how I dug that. That was up the loft. I dug it out and cleaned it up and put it up. Just to show people, if you've got a talent, use it. Don't go and waste.
Don't waste it.
Don't waste it.
That's it. And it's the same with youngins. That's a message to youngins, mate. You know what I mean? Find your talent, man. You know what I mean? And go for it. You know what I mean? Even like if they've not had a great upbringing, you know what I mean, and they've not had a good life, you know what I mean? You can always make it better. You can always make it better. You know what I mean?
You got up out your bed in the morning and go and bust your ass. You'll make something in your life.
Aye, work hard for it. Never falls in your lap, mate. You know what I mean? I used to be quite like that. Do you know what I mean? I used to think Again, like, why me, pity me, you know what I mean? Why Van will get this, why Van will get that, you know what I mean? Things like that. But you've got to graft for it, man. You've got to work for it, and you've got to earn it. You know what I mean, in life. You know what I mean?
Fast money goes fast and slow money goes slow.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Okay, it's about personal achievement. You know what I mean? And that's how maybe like going to things like gyms and finding activities. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Can help you build you as a person, man. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Definitely. It's definitely person building. It's how you find yourself in it. You know what I mean?
Stay away from the steroids because they'll just fuck you up.
Yeah, aye, no, it's not for me, mate. You know what I mean? If I go and name, man, fucking hell, man. You know what I mean? The way I'm addicted to things, you know what I mean? It'd be the end of me, mate. You know what I mean?
You've got to go to the gym, stay away from steroids. It'll take a
don't
bit longer for the muscle to come, but you'll get
it's
it.
another culture, mate. It's another culture. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to look down that. I know people who do that. That's their thing. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do, crack on. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not there for that. You know what I mean? I'm there for the personal side of it, mate. You know what I mean? And going in the satisfaction. I'll tell you what, mate. There's nothing more satisfying, honestly, than actually seeing your physical body change.
Yeah.
With what you're doing. You know what I mean? And like, I used to walk by and see myself in my reflection, kind of thing, and I'd be totally ashamed of my reflection, mate. You know what I mean? And I was just so overweight. You know what I mean? And I was really sad in myself. You know what I mean? And that's what pushed me to go. You know what I mean? But that's about making changes again, mate. You know what I mean? And doing something about it and realising that you need to change. You know what I mean? And it was a dietary thing as well. And obviously my kids. You know what I mean? I want to grow up to see my kids. That's why I don't drink, I don't take alcohol. That's why I'll never touch steroids, mate. You know what I mean? And things like that, because I want to see hopefully my kids have kids and see the wee bambinos, and I suppose that's a longer term goal, mate. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Keep me in the straight and narrow. You know what I mean?
I think can I leave it there, Paul?
Aye, it's been good, mate.
I would like to thank you for coming on and opening up and sharing your story.
Person, mate. Even just one person to realise, do you know what I mean? That, look, man, your life's not over, man. You know what I mean? Your life's only beginning.
It's worth it.
And it's always worth it, mate. Always worth it. Can't put that enough. It doesn't matter how fucking down you feel, man. There's always somebody there. You know what I mean? Talk to you. You know what I mean? Always. And good luck to you in your channel, pal. I really hope that you can touch some people, mate, and get them back on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean?
No problem. I'll need to stop recording and then we need to wait a minute for it to upload or download or whatever
I'll do that now and we'll still have